I go by the fake name of Chillmonger here on YouTube. This goes by the fake name of Toronto Raptors here on YouTube because we're still the champions. At least until next week, and I'm going to hold on to that for every moment I can. So, Toronto Raptors issue 1, let's read this book. Or should I read this book? Ooh, variant cover. Or should I read this book? Ooh, double variant cover. I got 3 books. Or should I read this book with the awesome colors by Israel Silva, who's slowly becoming my favorite colorist? I hope there's no glare. Yeah, man. I can collect 2. Tacoma Comics. The book, I read it backwards. The book is going to open with a cheeky little cameo that Ewing puts on the phone. It's her name. It's the artist's name, Simone Di Mio, and the editor, Alana Smith's name were mentioned over here. Kind of cool. Jamila is a brat that goes to the same school as Miles. They go inside the school, and you see some authentic talking from the kids. Very telling that Ewing is writing this. She's a teacher after all. There's a couple of things in here where the teacher goes, the connection is terrible, and she's talking about how she's tethering. Give it a second, I'm tethering off of my phone signal so I don't use the school's network. You know that's a conversation that was once said in this classroom, probably really recently because she was a middle school teacher not too long ago. So she knows. So that's that authenticity that we ask for in these comics. Yeah, that's my whole point actually. I just repeated it. So that's cool. Kamala over here now is speaking out for the whole team. Peep the background though. It's like a white light, right? You would think that she's out and about. And over here, I'm already thinking, look, well, how is she here? But in the Ms. Marvel book, she was bedridden. I guess this happens a few moments afterwards. We'll get the answer later. That she is in the bed. All she did is she put on her little mask. And she's actually faking her injury. Making it seem like she's more hurt than she already is. I learned that in the book Ms. Marvel this week, wherever that is. It's somewhere here. But yeah, that she's faking her injury as Kamala because Kamala can't just magically heal like that. So there's a whole lot of things that make sense that's happening right now in this book and in Outlawed in general. Jamila's going to put an end to it. She's going to open up her own chapter of C.R.A.D.L.E, which is the Childhood Reconnaissance C.R.A.D.L.E. That's what that stands for. I'm not a big fan of Jamila. I'm not ever gonna get invested in Jamila. Jamila doesn't have superpowers. This is already an ensembled cast, and there's people whose names I barely know, like Bombshell, who I'm more familiar with now after this, and the Outlawed book. But there's still so many people I'm learning. I'm not gonna invest brain storage space for Jamila, but she gets a couple of lines in here. Now, Miles, doesn't it look like he's moving? It's cool. And I've been sitting on that comment for the longest because I saw this preview page ages ago. Like 2020 February. I think this was one of those preview pages they showed us. Simone Di Mio, actually, she's doing a book now with this, right? And she'll have 5 issues of this. But she's also doing a book with the other Ewing. Al Ewing. What's it called? I wouldn't know. It's an independent. And it's not a Marvel book. It's on Image. So she's doing 2 books. That's how long ago this was. So yeah, it's a sting operation, and Miles Morales is gonna say to these cops, "Do I get to keep the purse?" So here's what happened. I laughed at that. It was a funny joke, and they're gonna talk, and as he gets away, they're gonna be like, "Oh, so you just let him get away?" And as he's leaving, you can hear him say, "Where is it?" He says, "Great, getting caught in a petty turf war between the NYPD and the federal goon squads. Who knows, maybe this would be a good time to just become a law-abiding citizen and get out of the game." He had to have heard what the 2 cops over here were saying as he was getting away. He didn't have enough time to hear these cops go, "Why'd you let him go? We need to get our arrest numbers up." Which is a sentence that was spoken by cops in real life at one time or another, or every single day. We need to get our arrest numbers up, or these C.R.A.D.L.E guys are gonna come in and take over our whole jurisdiction. Like, that takes way too long to read off for me. So I don't think he just zipped, whipped, and dipped. I should become a rapper. There's a base that the greatest character of Champions, Riri Williams, has set up for these people. He's going to be like, "Oh, Natalie, this is great. You're Riri's AI," something like that. it's a #1, it's new reader friendly, so they do announce themselves when they talk to each other. It doesn't come off normally. Like this guy's gonna be like, hey Braun, blah blah blah, and Nova, something something, and what do you think, Viv Vision? I don't know, Starling. How about you, Dust? What do you think about that, Patriot? And it's new reader friendly. I want to complain about it, which I am complaining about it, but I get it because I've been there also, where I'm like, what the hell are these guys? Say each other's names so I know exactly what your guys' names are. That's what's happening here. And that's where we see that Kamala Khan is still in bed. I actually wrote notes about this, and I don't want to miss out on anything. Oh, yes, that's what I missed out on. I mentioned Dust. Okay, remember how in Jonathan Hickman's White Pages, he goes, this is House of X issue 2, the best comic that's ever happened. Year 49 of Moira, there was a genocide at Genosha. That's what that says in that timeline. And then year 52 is the House of X, which is the books we're reading now. So year 49, 3 years ago, is what Grant Morrison wrote, right? Okay, here's where Dust kicks in. Dust was introduced in Grant Morrison's New X-Men. So she was introduced about 3 years ago to the X-Men. She flew over on a plane with Jean. It's 2020. 3 years ago, who was the president? And what type of band did he have? And what country does Dust C.R.A.D.L.E come from? Afghanistan. Muslim band. She shouldn't be here. There's no canonical sense to why this character made her way from there to here on a plane, not on an X-Jet, to be in this country. So this is a vigilante on top of vigilante. Thanks Trump. That's all. Just thanks Trump. Make sure you guys vote. There's a great line in here about approved mentors, which explains why Carol Danvers has Hazmat, who's also really young in the book. There's also a horrible thing here where Squirrel Girl is a member of the team, which means she's a youth vigilante, right? That's what that means, I guess. The problem is I read a book called Marvel Rising, where Squirrel Girl, was the teacher of Ms. Marvel, and you can't be a teacher and also under I think it's 21 years. How are you going to be a teacher? You need like 4 years of teacher college. It doesn't add up for me. So let's just say she was chaperoning these youth vigilantes here. She's not actually a teen. Because I read a book at Marvel, and when I read a book at Marvel, I want it to stick, and I want it to not be retconned. Because then I can't do like the example I did earlier with the House of X and all that stuff. I don't read these things for nothing. So everything needs to stick. Look, Starling is going to talk, and there's a new villain, and his name is, where's his name? Oh, he breaks down C.R.A.D.L.E. His name is Vance Astrovic. Vance Astrovic. Never heard of him. I probably should have searched him up. Maybe he has a big history at Marvel. And if he's new, then he's new, and that's really cool that he's new. He's new to me, so that's new enough. And he was a force to be reckoned with here. Awesome double-page spread. The artwork by Simone is moving. It's really cool. Natalie is going to explain to these guys that there is Spider-Man. See that little crack in the wall at your 6 o'clock? Subway access tunnel on the other side. And he goes, say less. This is where I would love to hear the Comicsgate commentary on this. What does he mean? That makes no sense grammatically whatsoever. That's enough information. He needs to be asking for more details on what this crack was, because it's a brick wall and there's plenty of crevices in which Natalie could be talking about. I don't get it. I would love to hear that reaction from people. Bombshell's going to be the one to break it. You want her to make him remember her name? Yeah, you make her do what her powers explain, and that's a bombshell. So yeah, they blow up the door. They try to get away. Some of them don't get away. Vision gets caught over here. So there's stakes already to this. And C.R.A.D.L.E is credible. They're a credible threat. And that's what Ewing let us know here in this book early on. It's not just him. It's also, who else got caught? Yeah, Bombshell herself got caught. Oh my god. Sad. But Pinpoint's gonna zip and zap them out. They are gone. And C.R.A.D.L.E was told where they were by none other than this woman here. I'm not going to say for certain it's a Vision, it probably is, but it could also be that sister that we were introduced to. Ewing talks about the Humberto Ramos, Mark Waid early version, that first volume over here. So maybe she was referencing something So it sounds like she's read everything in Champions, which is kind of like what you expect as a prerequisite when a comic book writer is writing. It's the 38th issue of Champions. I enjoyed this book thoroughly. Favorite book of the week, better than X-Force and Wolverine. That's going to be a sad short review when I do that one. Best Ewing writing at Marvel here. And I saw a tweet by, I think it was Chip Zdarsky, where he goes, no, Donny Cates said it. Well, they both tweeted it. They were like, don't compliment me by taking a dump on my other friends who are creators at Marvel. I don't like it. And then here I go saying Eve Ewing's the best Ewing working at Marvel.